Hi folks, now one can answer the question about how long does it take to change a well tank. And the answer is, with a little luck, a little over an hour. Let me show you what I got here. Let me close this place down first. I don't know if you guys ever have trouble with sick animals showing up at the house, and I don't mean the domestic kind. We had a raccoon show up a couple of days ago, and it was floating around the front of the house. I was going to have a little talk with it. I got my .22. I saw it in broad daylight, so that's not a good sign. And I went out with my .22 and it was gone already. And then while I was napping, we found it. It moved into the cat's little cottage that we put together for it. So a friend of mine came over while I was napping and did the deed and disposed of him or her. It seems like he had been in a fight and he had gotten screwed up pretty good. Looked like he had damage to the side of his face, or he might have been hit by a car and damaged his face that way. My buddy said he didn't smell very good and all, so we disposed of him. There was no foaming around the mouth or anything like that. He really wasn't aggressive, but he was definitely screwed up. He was still eating because he was sneaking out and eating the cat food, but he would show up during the day and eat the cat food, not just at night, so we had to get rid of him. So I don't know if you folks run across that. Also, it's not quite October 1st, and we could see that the leaves are changing, you know, a little here and there. For some folks down with the more southern climates, not changing all that much for you guys yet. But here, I think this tree is dying. It's an elm tree. Probably has elm tree disease. Anyway, so enough about climatological trivia. Let me show you what I've done in here. Installing a well tank, if you have the right stuff, is kind of a piece of cake. If you don't have the right stuff, get ready to make a couple of trips to the hardware store or your plumbing supply house, whatever. Okay, here we are. So what I did was I showed you that fitting, that 1 inch to 3/4 inch, 1 inch threaded to 3/4 inch sweat fitting. So I soldered that onto this length of copper pipe. I Teflon taped the end of it, and then I put some of this stuff on there. Real tough Teflon paste, thread sealant. It's also somewhat of a, the Teflon lubricates the threads so that they tighten on really nice and clean and neat. This is that fitting I told you, the shark bite. So you clean up the pipe and just push it on, no soldering. Clean up the pipe and just push it on. So once I set up this length of pipe, I just had to cut where I wanted it, hook it up, slide it together. Then the other thing you got to do is you have to set the pressure in the tank. Use this thing here. This comes off. There's a little Schrade valve, like a bicycle valve. It was factory preset to 38 psi. My well comes on at about 22, 23 psi, so you bleed the air off to 2 pounds less than where your well comes on. They call it the cut-in, 2 pounds less than the cut-in. So I bled it down to about 20 psi, and I turned the water on. I'm looking, I got no leaks. She pumped right up. And just to show you, here, right, I'm drawing water. You see my pressure gauge isn't moving. I'm just going to fill this bucket and show you guys that I got no pulsing and moving or anything. See how my pressure gauge isn't even coming down, and I've already drawn a half a bucket. I mean, once again, I got no movement on the pressure gauge. According to the specs on this tank, I should be able to draw close to 10 gallons from it before the pump has to cycle. So homie likes that. It'll save a lot of wear and tear on my pump. So here we are. You know, once again, it's nice and stable. It's all sitting there. So once again, water comes in. That's the switch. When that goes down to around 22 psi, 23 psi, that switch comes on, pumps water, pumps it into the tank. The tank provides the continuous pressure on the system without the well having to keep cycling on and off to keep the pressure up. Comes right up. My 2 filters. I went with this filtering system because my house has relatively hard water. I've only changed these filters a couple of days ago, and you can already see they're supposed to be white, like white. You can already see they're pretty dirty. I have quite a bit of iron and other crap in my water. I mean, God knows what anybody has in their well water these days. So I filter all the big stuff out with the sediment filters. Then I run, these are carbon filters. I run double carbons. So my well did have, if you drink the water straight, like right from here, the water's okay. It's got a bit of a metallic taste, a bit, you know, mostly metallic taste, a little bit of sulfur. So with these filters on it, when you drink the water, you don't smell anything. If you take a shower and you're running the water, once again, you don't get the stink of sulfur into the house. So I am done. And you guys could see it took me approximately a little over an hour. I stopped and picked up the tank on the way home from work. I figured I probably added an extra half hour to my trip. What tools do you need? You need a pipe cutter. You need solder. And by the way, obviously this is drinking water, so you go with the lead free, right? I'm stupid enough without adding lead to my diet or any more lead to my diet. You need some Teflon tape. This is the kind they use on gas pipes. It doesn't shred as much as the white stuff. I just kind of like it a little better. It kind of keeps the little fibers out of the house. I did a bunch of plumbing, and I had a couple of valves leaking, so I took them apart and I found the little white fibers in there from shredding Teflon. So that's when I moved toward the yellow stuff. And once they use it for gas, because obviously you don't want those shreds in gas valves, because bad little things happen, like, you know, gas valves leak and people blow themselves up. After I put the tape on it, I give it a little bit of this stuff, and I used my propane torch up in the upper garage. Obviously, all I needed was a shark bite fitting, 3/4 to 3/4. Some people have 1/2 inch, or excuse me, they have 1 inch all through here, but the people who installed this well originally reduced it down to 3/4, so that's what I danced with. That's what I was playing with. So once again, I needed that 1 inch to 3/4 inch pipe. I needed, I don't know, what is this, about 16 inches of pipe right there, the shark bite. So $400, call it 2 hours worth of work if you include the time it took me to go buy the tank, and I saved $900. I don't know about you guys, whenever possible, if I can save $900 worth of 2 hours worth of work, that's a good thing. About this tank is waterlogged. This is the one I took out. To move it from there to there was very difficult. It was heavy as, you know, all get out. Parental guidance, you know, don't need to drop a nut, but it was close moving it to here. It was heavy. So it obviously was waterlogged. Alright folks, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for watching, subscribing, commenting. Remember, tires down, handlebars up. Live, love, and have a great time, and we'll catch you on the next episode of The Horde. Oh, by the way, just how's that for a horde of pliers, huh? Now there's a horde. Take care, folks.